The Crimean Bridge was closed on the morning of December 6 amid reports of Ukrainian drones targeting the area. According to the pro-Ukrainian Crimean Wind Telegram channel, explosions were heard in the city of Kerch near the Zaliv shipyard, and air defense systems were reportedly activated in the Kerch Strait, according to Krym Realii. Vehicular traffic on the Crimean Bridge has been temporarily suspended, the Crimean Bridge Operational Information Telegram channel said. Russia's defense ministry stated on December 6 that air defense systems shot down one Ukrainian drone over Crimea overnight. The ministry also claimed that Russian Black Sea Fleet naval aviation destroyed two Ukrainian uncrewed boats heading toward Crimea in the Black Sea. Russian air defense systems on duty destroyed 33 Ukrainian drones over Russian regions last night, the Russian Defense Ministry reports. During the past night, attempts by the Kiev regime to carry out terrorist attacks using aircraft-type UAVs against targets on the territory of the Russian Federation were thwarted. Air defense systems on duty destroyed 33 Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicles, the statement said. It is specified that 14 UAVs were destroyed over the territory of the Voronezh region, 11 were shot down over the territory of the Kursk region, 7 UAVs were shot down over the territory of the Belgorod region, and 1 was shot down over the territory of the Republic of Crimea. The department also reported that the crews of the Black Sea Fleet's naval aviation destroyed 2 Ukrainian unmanned boats in the Black Sea, which were heading towards the Crimean Peninsula. A video has been published in Telegram messaging app, showing a Russian military official convincing Central Asian nationals to join the war in Ukraine in exchange for receiving a Russian citizenship. Addressing dozens of conscription workers of Central Asian origin in an unidentified location, a Russian military official pledged that anyone signing a conscription contract would receive a citizenship. To receive a citizenship of the Russian Federation, one can sign a contract with the Russian Defense Ministry. The contract lasts from a year till 5 years. After the expiration of the contract, you will be issued Russian passports and you will become Russian Federation citizens. You won't need a work permit. The monthly salary will start from 210,000 rubles or around $2,070. The military official went on telling about other benefits that the potential conscripts would receive. Free medical treatment, sanatorium resort, life insurance, status of veteran of military operations. After his speech, the military official asked whether any of the workers were interested in the offer. However, none of the men responded.
Кто, желающие есть? Поднимите руки. Нет, желающие. Да, едем на родину. Все, выключаем.
German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock does not rule out sending German soldiers to Ukraine to monitor compliance with the ceasefire. As Welt writes, Baerbock said that the possibility of an international military presence to ensure a ceasefire is seen as a complement to other security guarantees, such as NATO membership. Asked about Germany's possible role in the matter, she said Germany would of course do everything in its power to support anything that will serve the peace of the future. The German foreign minister added that Berlin will strive to support all efforts aimed at achieving peace. Recall, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz announced new military aid for Ukraine during a rare visit that he said sent a message to Russian President Vladimir Putin that Berlin would stand by Kyiv for as long as needed in the war. The visit, his first to Kyiv since the early months of Russia's 2022 invasion, comes ahead of Donald Trump's return to the White House and weeks after Scholz's governing coalition in Berlin collapsed, threatening his future as Chancellor. The political upheaval in Germany, Europe's biggest economy, adds to a growing sense of uncertainty in Ukraine, with Russian troops advancing ever faster in the east. It is unclear how much Kyiv's European partners can step up support for Ukraine if Trump cuts help from the United States, its most powerful ally. My message from Kyiv to Putin: we're in this for the long haul. Our support for Ukraine will not waver. We will stand by the Ukrainian people for as long as it takes, Scholz wrote on X. As Bild reporter Peter Thied notes, this is the first time that a member of the German government has spoken out about part of a possible peace plan since Donald Trump's inauguration. Le Monde recently reported that secret discussions about sending troops to Ukraine have resumed in Europe. At the same time, The Times reported that NATO would not want to send troops to Ukraine because if Western troops were killed by the Russian army, countries like Britain could quickly be drawn into the war. And former British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is calling for British peacekeeping troops to be deployed to guard Ukraine's border in the event of a future ceasefire with Russia. Earlier, French President Emmanuel Macron said on February the 26th that around 20 Western countries taking part in a Paris meeting on further assistance for Kiev had discussed the possibility of sending troops to Ukraine. According to Macron, no consensus was reached on the issue then, but such a possibility cannot be ruled out in the future. Russian presidential spokesman Dmitry Peskov stated that the deployment of foreign troops to Ukraine would lead to severe, if not irreversible, consequences. Ukrainian drone bombers like Baba Yaga are the occupiers' worst nightmare, and they fear them like fire. Ukrainian Army communications specialist Sergei Beskresnov spoke about the features of these drones and their role at the front in an interview with Liganet. He said that under autonomous control, such drones can fly deep into Russian territory within 10 kilometers from the front. They attack absolutely everything they can: expensive equipment, warehouses. Therefore, the Russians try not to keep critical military targets in this zone and direct all efforts to minimize losses from these drones. Their opponents are afraid of them like fire. They track them with Mavics, with thermal imagers, and try to attack or shoot with nets. If you are lagging behind the Russians in FPV, then in the bomber segment, we are the leader, he notes. At the same time, the specialist noted that Baba Yaga cannot attack if the target is covered by electronic warfare, so fiber optics could be a good solution for them. In China, there are serial reels for 10 kilometer. The Chinese can make reels for 20 kilometer to order. They weigh 3 kilograms, but for a large bomber, this is not a problem, he explained. According to him, the Russians have not yet figured out how to copy Ukrainian drone bombers, but they are learning, adopting remote mining techniques from the Ukrainian armed forces when mines and ammunition are scattered behind enemy lines. They are trying to combat this. They are setting up night patrols that can determine by ear when and where the bomber is flying to drop mines. They mark the points where they heard the sound so that they can check in the morning and make sure there are no mines there. We accordingly record these observation posts and minus them with drops, says Flesh. The Russians admit that Ukraine has made significant progress in upgrading UAVs of this type. According to the formal head of Roscosmos, Dmitry Rogozin, our country has increased the range and stealth level of such UAVs. It later became known that the Russian Federation had begun mass production of the heavy strike and reconnaissance drone MIS-35, which is positioned as a mini Baba Yaga.